Hi, I'm here with Jamie Smith, and he's going to answer one of your questions. Calvinism, as distinct from Reformed, has always been around. You could listen to Calvinist preachers on the radio and read their books. What then has caused this resurgence in interest? To which cultural, ecclesiological, theological, political, and other factors would you point?
Yeah. In some ways, it's a sociological question, right? If you were trying to map that, and it would be really interesting for somebody to do some work on that. I think there are a few factors at least. One I'm just slightly cynical about, but let me start with the positive things. I think, to me, this resurgence of interest in Calvinism, Jonathan Edwards, Reformed Orthodoxy, to me is an expression of the fact that a younger generation has gotten really tired with how, for lack of a better word, dumb evangelicalism is. I mean, that is, they've become frustrated and disappointed with the intellectual paucity of evangelical spirituality. And I think what they find in this Reformed conversation, in this Calvinist conversation, is actually a lot of theological meat and rigor. And I affirm that. I honestly, that was my own pilgrimage. As I became a Christian who wanted to think through things theologically, it's very natural to hit upon the Reformed tradition because it is kind of that tradition within Protestantism that has this vibrant intellectual heritage. So I think that's a good sign. I think there's also a renewed appreciation for history that this expresses. So, kind of megachurch Christianity over the last 20 years has always sort of been about what's the next best thing, what's the new big deal, what's the novel thing that we're going to come up with. And I think a generation has recognized that has diminishing returns. And they've gone back to historical resources and said, oh man, it turns out that people in the 1700s and the 1500s were smarter than us. Or we have a lot to learn from them. So I think that those two factors are important causes for this resurgence, and they're things I want to affirm. I will say, just cautiously, I think there's a certain edge to this resurgence of Calvinism that also gives comfort to certain political agendas and ideals. I think there's a way that it gives comfort to certain retrenchment into notions of patriarchy. I just think that there are probably also political factors, and I don't want to discount those. I also don't want to reduce the interest in the new Calvinism to those political factors. In some ways, I think that Time magazine article that thought that Calvinism was the new big ideas, I feel like Van Bema was sort of saying, I can explain this entirely politically, and I just don't think you can do that. In fact, I think you can only explain it theologically and spiritually in some sense. I'm open to considering that there's the seeds of renewal in that interest, and that's why I wanted to encourage that, even if I also wanted to sort of channel that conversation in a certain way.
Great, thank you very much.